Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhi Tamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. My namaskars to you all who are listening this talk on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are deliberating upon the verses from chapter number 18th, Ashtadashodhyayah. This chapter is titled as Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, that is yoga, that is communion with God through moksha and sannyasa. These are the two important concepts. Moksha, that is liberation. Sannyasa, that is total renunciations. So what is liberation and what is renunciation? That was the preliminary queries Arjuna had raised in the beginning of this chapter. We would be discussing verses from verse number 23rd. And what is going on, I will give you a brief context to you. Now, one thing while I was chanting these verses, so first was this Vedic Shanti mantra, Om Sahana Vavatu. Now, these Shanti mantras, Vedic Shanti mantras are recited when there is some Vedic portion, if it is being read like Upanishads. Right? But Gita doesn't come in Upanishad, and this is generally not the usual convention. They start with Parthaya Pratibodhitam, that is Gita Dhyan, and this one Gita Mahatmya, there are few certain verses. So Vasudeva Sutam and Mukam Karoti Vachalam, these verses comes there. So why then Sahana Vavatu we chant before we are studying Gita, to suggest that again that Gita is nothing but the collection of those truths retold again by Bhagavan Sri Krishna, which has been enunciated in Upanishads. So this is not distinct from that. That's why we chant Sahana Vavatu. That we are again focusing, reciting, banking upon the Upanishadic truths only. In Gita Mahatmya, these ideas come that Upanishad is like cows and Arjuna is like the calf. seeing which with a lot of love and adoration, therefore the cow lets the milk flow from her udder, and Krishna is the person who is drawing that milk. Dogdha Gopala Nandana, that is Krishna is that Gopala Nandana, who is Gwala, the cow keeper. So he is drawing the milk. That milk being Gita Mrutam, this is the milk. Gita is the milk. So now coming to our text, what is going on here? This is now the concluding chapter. So now Krishna is wrapping up whatever has been discussed, whatever has been has to be told. Everything is now done. In Arjuna is also more or less ready. One last question he had asked. He wanted to know what is renunciation, what is tyaga. And now Krishna being having told him briefly, he is talking about now few ideas. Now these he said jnana, karma and karta. This thing, jnana, that is knowledge, karma, that is action, karta, that is the doer. So how according to their qualities, gunas, this guna means here sattvic, rajasic and tamasic, sattva, rajas and tamas. On the basis of these three gunas, how these three things, jnana, that is knowledge, karma, that is action, and the karta, that is the doer, how they differ from one another. Why the difference is being told? Because it is told earlier that urdhvam gacchanti satvastha madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya gunavruttistha adho gacchanti tamasa. Meaning, simply translate, if you want to grow, so if you want to go further, so then sattva is the only way. Sattva can alone cause growth. Its characteristic is like that. And sattva is defined various ways in throughout this, when this discussion ensues, like from 14th chapter. So this discussion is going on. So and what is the important? Why sattva, rajas, tamas? Why this differentiation again and again and again? It is repeated because what is this showing? Now suppose we have seen verses until this jnana is described. How it would be if it is coming out of sattva? How it would be if it is coming out of rajas, and how it is if it is coming from the tamas? How distinct it would be to one another? Point is that now once that is described, and now Arjuna are like people like us who want to practice now, who want to practice and put ideas into practice. Now they becomes a tally marker for us. We can tally whether I am doing all right, whether it is checking all boxes, and whether I am pursuing it right, I have understood it right, and it is really, whether I like it or not, it will cause my growth. So I am going in right direction, I am building up. I am not wasting my time. If that is not happening, then I have to find out a remedy. I must think of alternatives. I must investigate. I must find out what is missing. So from 14th chapter onwards, these discussions are going on. 14th chapter, then less in, not much in 15th chapter, less in 16th chapter, and 17th chapter again, Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga, full discussion. Then 18th chapter again. So Krishna in a way he is telling Arjuna, so look, whatever confusion you have, these simple things can sort it out. Check yourself. If it is qualifying these conditions, then it's all right. Otherwise you are missing the mark. So that first which I just recited, urdhvam gacchanti satvastha, urdhvam means up higher you will go. Satvastha, one who is embedded, who is enshrined in sattva. The quality, like as if one material which has three distinct quality, and therefore their performance and output and their behavior is relatively baser or finer. So that is sattva, rajas and tamas. Rajas is always identified with confusion, misunderstanding, and what would be the result of rajas? That person would be stuck, that he will not grow. He might not degrade. So from rajas, he must make effort to enter into sattva so that it will cause growth. If he doesn't try for that, then he is very naturally going to be degraded into tamas. Tamas, being the other polar opposite, looks just like sattva but exactly bearing the negative result. Swamiji uses, and he says rather this is a big problem with the Indian society. He said that time, and far more probably even in this time, that he said we Indians, we have mistook this tamas for sattva. This is our grave mistake. So one Swamiji, he was explaining Vedanta, and this, when this adhyasa etc. being explained. So this what is adhyasa? So this rajju sarpa brahma. This is very common example. So example is that in a twilight, or there is a shadow, there is a play of shadow and light. In such a scenario, if there is a rope and person in his haste, he might mistake it for that piece of rope, he might mistake it for a snake. So as soon as he apprehends it as a snake, all natural reaction, what any individual supposed to have in such a scenario, seeing a snake, that is happening to that person, a shock, maybe palpitation, maybe the bit of lot of secretion of adrenaline, and taking a stance or something, or maybe shouting, or all kinds of reactions. It doesn't change the truth that it is a piece of rope, it is not snake. It doesn't change this truth. Nonetheless, because he had this mistaken identity, all this set of reactions follows. All right. So this is famous example of rajju means the rope, and sarpa means snake, and this is Brahm which is created. So you cannot all of a sudden you can imagine just snake out of nowhere. For that a reality called rope is required. So this Vedantis, they use this example a lot. So one Swamiji, who was somewhat amusingly some humor. So he said, if somebody mistake the rope as snake, and he would be little bit terrified, little would be taken aback. That's all right. All right. Okay. After a minute, he understands that it's not a snake, it's a rope. Imagine if the individual mistake the snake as rope, death is guaranteed. If the snake is venomous, death is guaranteed. So, and how powerful adhyasa could be, there is recorded incidents. A person was bitten by a snake which was not venomous, and that person was sure that he is venomous, but he couldn't be attended by any medical or appropriate professional. By next day, he was dead and his whole body has created the poison. Can you imagine? This is a real world scenario, like people like us. Adhyasa. Now, so that is the story of tamas. Tamas is exactly this viparita jnana, that is his condition. So it is sure for bondage. Now, jnana is explained. Now, karma. What is karma? Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic karma. So, which kind of action will lead to your liberation and which would be rather result into your bondage? That is being discussed here. So, this set of verses from verse number 23rd. नियतम संगरहितम अराग द्वेषतः कृतम अफल प्रेप्सुना कर्म यत् तत् सात्विकम उच्यते. So what is satvika karma is being said here. So niyatam, niyatam here, this word definitely it can be used as an ordained work, because ordained, because why this word, why I have somewhat reservation translating this word as in this way. Here when the word ordained is used, what they are generally referring to, that what is ordained by a set of rules of dharma. So you are a Brahmin born in a particular family, or you are a Kshatriya, or you are a Vaishya, or a Shudra, or whosoever you are, and your holy books, or you must do sandhya this way, you must wear this, you must eat this, you are not allowed to eat this, these are your duties, etc., etc. But this word itself, without this colorization, if we take this word as it is, just as it is, then it doesn't necessarily mean that. The word niyata in itself doesn't mean that, unless somebody contextualize it. So niyata is simply means which comes as a result of your set of circumstances. What you are supposed to do, that would be niyata. In a controlled scenario, your father, your mother, your teacher, you have certain set of duties, what you must do, what you are obligated to do. Niyatam, which is your duty. You must do that. Niyatam, but all this karma, so which you are supposed to do, niyata. How do you do that? Sanga rahitam, without any undue attachment. Sanga rahitam matlab, no, I don't have any attachment, you can do that. So that's why the word niyatam, which you are supposed to do, you must do that. Okay. So not having any attachment means you are not obsessed by it, and like you do not become territorial about it, and that possessiveness and total identification is not there. You do it for what objective it has been given for you, or you were supposed to do it. You were supposed to discharge it as a duty. Niyatam sangarahitam araga dveshatah. So two things. Raga means here attachment, and dvesha. Raga is not just attachment, it is out of attraction. If something is very luring, very likable, then it is called as raga. Ramate gamate cha. Because you like it, your mind gets absorbed and want to run after it. Raga, that is called as raga. And dvesha, which you abhor, which you dislike, which you don't want to do. So you have none of this kind of attachment, positive or negative. coming out of raga, of attraction or abhorration. Dveshata. And when you would be doing your duty, that would be the perfect workmanship, and not being desirous of the result. So it again does not mean that whether it attains its objective or not. No, that is not the thing. That is not the thing. That you act in certain way, there is an objective that it must attain, it must give rise to. But it is not the wishful thinking, oh, you should have done that, or this must have, you went to play some game, gambling, okay. And I said, it was some roulette is going on. So it must bear the result you wish. That is desiring a result. That is desiring a result. It is not like that you are doing whatever that it bears result. That is not that mentality. It is not that mentality. You are working for a certain objective, it must fulfill the objective. You are not emotionally entangled in it. It fails, you go back, you analyze, you see from where it is leaking, you correct it, you ameliorate it, you rectify it, you go after it, you try to excel it. When it achieves, you raise your threshold. You are not emotionally affected by it. Yes, we have got it, we have got the higher sales, we have been the top leader in the industry or something, one way or other. You are emotionally getting entangled. Aphala prepsuna. So this is the state of the mind, that you are not too carried away by the results, only emotionally reacting to it. You are not mindful of the objectives, what your actions are going to lead to. No, that is not talked about. This is not it. Aphala prepsuna, not desiring results, is like emotionally getting invested into it. Yes, you are successful, you are joyous, you have failed, you are little somber. All right, perfect. But like you are making a total tamasha out of it, unwarranted. That person has no nerve, no steadiness of the mind. That cannot be the result of sattva. And he will explain that is exactly happens in rajas. And tamas is totally different. That is total absurdity. So, aphala prepsuna karma, if such is the action, then that would be called as satvikam uchyate. That action would be called as satvikam. And this action, doing any action in this way, this will cause your growth. This will lead to liberation. You would be liberated. And forget about now, understand this. Hindus, we speak of liberation which is attained here in this body. And we don't talk about, or we don't give to any other liberation. When I am cremated, burned into ashes, we don't give much importance to it. We're not interested. Here, हमको कैश में चाहिए भाई, कैश में बिजनेस करो. तुम बैंक में क्या ट्रांसफर करोगे, कितने रुपए का चेक है, कोई प्रॉमिस नहीं चाहिए, इधर दो, है ना, कोल्ड हार्ड कैश, नो स्ट्रिंग्स अटैच्ड. इहैव तैर्जित सर्गो येषाम साम्य स्थितम. सो दिस इज द लैंग्वेज दे स्पीक. इहैव, इह एव, यही पे. So now understand this. This is the very great idea. Now we have morning one class for young people, Vivekananda Study Circle. So in the last class I was telling them this idea that these four concepts I see very culturally and historically we have so corrupted them, and you will see they have played a major role into degradation of our country, of our race, of our civilization. We have lost. Those four concepts mean, so first concept is moksha itself, liberation. The idea moksha, we turn into escapism, we became such kind of people, we are always wanting to run away. Now this concept of moksha, this liberation in this way, कि हाँ ये गाय को उड़ीद खिला दो तो मोक्ष हो जाएगा, इधर मतलब 11 रुपए चढ़ा दो तो मोक्ष हो जाएगा, ऐसा इसको सिंदूर लगा दो तो मोक्ष हो जाएगा, और गुरु नहीं करेगा तो मोक्ष नहीं होगा, तो गुरु करो, फिर चाहे तुम जो चाहे करो. These kinds of idea, we made it so cheap. Maybe because this making it popular and popularly acceptable, or to spread it, we have diluted and corrupted it to no dearth. This has been a great sin, our national civilizational sin, that we let these ideas corrupt. Because our civilization is built upon these ideas. Moksha, Vairagya, Ahimsa and Pavitrata, these are these four concepts. These being corrupted, we see that every other thing. So one boy was asking that, why Pavitrata you have included? I said, like every other concept, we have degraded the concept itself. Pavitrata, we have turned it into what we said, untouchability. Don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. Chhuachut. This is what we have come to understand. Pavitrata is something to be earned, it is generated, it has to be lived, it is to be experienced. It is ethereal, it is liberating. No, because that is very difficult. Why to talk about this? Is nice. Hey, don't touch. You have not taken bath and put tulsi leaves. This thing, Ganga Jal, one or other. Drama, drama, drama. That is cheap. And that we like it. That is entertaining. Because without much doing, you can behave like a boss and, show somebody down. That's why we degrade the higher ideas. So now, here you see, when we are talking about this sattvika karma and it will lead to liberation, forget about liberation now, any other thing. It will liberate you here and now. You would be free if you would be able to act like that. Imagine this. Niyatam, that you are doing what you are supposed to do. You are not going into intervening somebody's business. Not doing that. Your father, your teacher, you by virtue of you are part of the society, of your workplace, of a family, in various ways you might have different kind of obligation. You realize that. And you you understand that you need to meet those obligations in certain way. You understand that. It is not like that you don't understand. You do not have to have very abstruse knowledge of religious book, what is Dharma Shastra is saying. So some boy, he was asking me, or many times people ask this kind of question, that Swami ji kuch boliye. Maharaj, please go out then. So many times people come and this is usual way in India, कि स्वामी जी कुछ बताइए. ये हम कहा कि क्या करना चाहिए. This is one usual question, कि क्या करना चाहिए. मैंने कहा कि क्या करना चाहिए, क्यों तुमको कुछ पता नहीं कि तुमको क्या करना चाहिए, और तुमको जितना समझ में आ रहा है कि क्या करना चाहिए, तुमने वो सब कर दिया. Have you done everything of it? Have you done with all? Have you? No. But we want sermons. We want motivation. The motivation addiction. This is new addiction of 21st century. We are addicted to motivation. कि हाँ बहुत अच्छा लगा, and that's it, over. As if it is going to fructify in some miraculous way. So now, so it is not like that you need to be told as and who you are, as much this understanding is given to us, given to you, me, everyone. We understand what we must do, and when we understand, that this is rightfully I am supposed to do, react to, respond to, discharge this as my duty. So I am doing that. Asangarahitam. Araga, dveshata, not none kind of attachment, positive or negative, born out of any attraction or aberration. In this very chapter, this 10th verse, very nice. I have quoted that I have many number of times. I like that verse very much. No dveshti kushalam karma kushale nanu shajjate tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi chinna samshaya. This verse, I like it very much because this is not the only place it comes. Earlier also, this idea is reflected by Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. This is as if the secret. What does he say? That no dveshti kushalam karma, the action in which you are good at. Maybe I am good at playing video games. So I am, akushalam karma, something which I am not good at. Maybe cleaning toilets. So I hate it if that duty is given to me. So what Bhagavan is saying? No dveshti, you do not hate akushalam karma where you are not good at. Maybe cutting onions or something like that. So you don't want to do because you do not think it is something, whether you are good at or you don't want to do something, maybe it is hurting your prestige or some way, one way or other. Akushalam karma. Don't hate. Na dveshti. Dvesha, na dvesha karoti, na dveshti akushalam karma. And kushale, which is kushala karma, which you are good at, you want to do, you are capable, you like it. You do not get obsessed with na anushajjate. Kushale na anushajjate. If you have got this kind of character, if you have developed this kind of character, then he says 4 qualifications. If any individual has attained this, has become like this, not hating which he don't want to do, and not getting obsessed which he likes, then he says that person is medhavi. He is truly medhavi, extraordinarily intelligent, spiritually intelligent, because that intelligence is referred as medha, higher intelligence. Medhavi. First he says tyagi. Tyagi. That person has really renounced. If you have developed such kind of character, you do not hate which you don't want to do, and you do not get obsessed which you likes to do, then you are the tyagi. You have really renounced. Chinna samshaya, that this person's all doubts are dispelled. There are no doubts in the mind of this person. This person has sorted out. He has clarity in understanding. Chinna samshaya, medhavi, that he is extraordinarily intelligent. Tyagi, sattva samavishto, this person is established in sattva. So here, similarly, niyatam sangarahitam araga dveshatah krutam, that any action which is done in this way, niyatam. And niyata is, well, also it means, yata means which is controlled. So similarly, this word niyama comes with the same root. And so niyatam, so person who is doing any action which is done, which is niyata, which is sangarahita, attachment, araga dveshata, from raga, which is attraction, and dvesha, which is aberration, and any attachment out of it. So what would be attachment coming out of the hatred? Of towards strong dislike. That would be sanga. Obsession. That yes, no, I am not at all agreeable to it, no matter what. Resign kar dunga, nahi karunga main. Something like that. it is that our attachment can be of the various thing. Not, it can be of the places, it can be of the causes, it can be of the people, it can be of the various. एक कोई आदमी है कि जिसको मैं पसंद नहीं करता, बस आई कैनॉट टॉलरेट हिम व्हाट एवर मे बी द केस, नो मैटर व्हाट, चाहे कंपनी डूब जाए मैं उसका साथ नहीं दूंगा. स्ट्रॉन्ग अटैचमेंट coming out of द्वेषा. और दिस राग, कंपनी डूब रही है पर his favoritism is nowhere seeing the end. कि नहीं नहीं बहुत क्यूट दिखता है, इसको दो काम. अरे डूब रहा है भाई, पर नहीं. अटैचमेंट, फेवरिटिज्म, नेपोटिज्म. नाउ so if any action is done without of these vices, afala prepsuna, not being emotionally entangled by its results, in its results, afala prepsuna, and this karma is satvika, then you will say that why one would do this? There is nothing interesting left. No, that is a mistake. What you are thinking, exactly this is what it will direct you to what sattva is. What sattva is. Now that person, why that person is doing? Because he must do it. That is the thing they are doing. Their mind is totally cleansed of any other kind of incentives outward, and they are purely doing maybe science, maybe their commerce, maybe their business, maybe their research, or maybe their service, whatever. And their mind is not unnecessarily loaded or burdened by any other factors. And here, here lies that enlightenment. If that person, he is able to do it, this person becomes so effective that he has so much space and time left that he can do manifold work than any other individual. There is no loss and leakage of energy, of focus, of mind. And he would not be exhausted. He is like so calm as if enjoying, attaining that flow, the experience of optimal performance. There is a book titled Flow by one author, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. So he says the psychology of optimal performance, that is flow. जैसे हम क्रिकेट में ये शब्द यूज करते हैं ना, फॉर्म यूज करते हैं. तो पहले बैट्समैन है कोई, मिस इवन ही स्ट्रगलिंग एंड देन ही गेट्स इनटू हिज रिदम, इन हिज ग्रूव. देन लाइक व्हेन दिस Rohit Sharma hit 264 out of 177 ball. So he made his 1572 balls that day against Sri Lanka. He made his 1572 balls. So he was struggling. So, and he was, after a break, he was returning to India team. He made his century in 100 balls. And then the next century, in far less ball, I think 164 or 168. So like that, then whatever you are throwing, that he is putting it off the ropes. So ridiculously, he is playing shots, but they are all going flying over the ropes. That is how form look like. That is how form look like. That even if you want to do mistake, you don't do mistake, and everything is perfect. Everything is perfection. So that it is in total sync, that whatever you intend to, you are imagining, and your body is responding without any lag. There is no lag, and that is flow. So, and this is the great joy of work. I do not have to derive joy out of this emotional kick, whether I have succeeded or whether I have failed. or whether this is something I love or this is something I hate, this is mine or somebody's. If I am doing that work itself, it becomes such a calm flow of that river inside me, that I am simply enjoying that bliss. That is known as sattva. What is the laminar flow? It is called as laminar flow. Have you heard that term? So when you pour oil, then you say there is no bubble. So molecule to molecule, their viscosity is so much that there is no air pockets or air bubble or any other molecule space there. Then we say it a laminar flow. So and that is very primary concept of happiness, joy and concentration. That's what yoga says. That yoga says simply, they don't dabble much into emotion like bhakti, or they don't unnecessarily entangle themselves into reasoning like jnana. They say, keep it off, unnecessary. Just do it. Do this way, practice, just practice it and over. Just don't think. You are making it worse. Don't try to emotionalize it. Not necessary. Don't try to rationalize it. It is not necessary. Just do it. I tell you, you believe me, you will see the result. Do and see. So train your mind, let your mind accept, let it do. If it can create a flow and there are no pockets, and your mind as if it is getting a big bandwidth and it is flowing torrentially without any hiccups. And you will feel like, yes, you are drenching in the bliss. And that's why people, if anybody have the taste of meditation, they get addicted to it, because nothing can give you that kind of bliss, because every other bliss is dependent on something outside of you. Suppose I love to listen to music, or maybe I love to sing alone. I don't want anybody. Okay. बट इफ समटाइम मेरा गला खराब है, वेदर खराब है, कोई दूसरा आदमी कहीं से डिस्टर्बेंस कर रहा है ना, पैर का खून सर में चला जाएगा, है ना, बोलेंगे यू अनसिविलाइज बारबेरियंस, डू यू नो व्हाट आई एम सिंगिंग? This is called classical music. Do you have any taste? You are behaving like animals. Because your peace can always be challenged, disturbed by any other outside thing. But if it is self-contained, then it can be extremely addictive. Then it can be, yes, with all that effort, and with effort which you learn with discipline, its joy and pleasure is immeasurable. Anything you play, you sing, you do whatever, any high class thing you can do, with you learn anything with the discipline, you cannot replace that joy with something cheap, है ना? Like, तो तुमको क्या चेस खेल के भी मजा आ रहा है, ये लिख दो, ये मूवी देख लो. No, these two things cannot be equated. It cannot be that engaging to his intellectual faculty which has developed over the period of time. This is, you cannot even think of it. You cannot even think of it. अरे बहुत अच्छा मूवी है भाई, या फिर बहुत ये क्रिकेट मैच, ग्रेट इनिंग ही प्लेड, यू सी दैट. No, it's only a passive entertainment. No, it cannot give you that pleasure. So meditation is like that. It is very hard to train your mind. But if you can, and if you get even the taste of it, then you are surely to go mad after it. That is going to be Satvika Sukham. So, this is why, and now Satvika Karma, here explained this 23rd verse. So, we will see this 24th and 25th verse. So, what is then next? यत्तु कामेप्सुना कर्म साहंकारेण वा पुनः क्रियते बहुलायासम तद राजसम उदाहृतम. Udahurtam means said. Tat means such karma. Rajasam. Tad rajasam udahurtam. It is said as rajasic karma. So what are its characteristics? Kamepsuna, which is done out of desires. So earlier it was said that you do not desire the fruits. Yahan to desire hi main hai. So yes, desires, therefore definitely there will be desire of something, of some kind of objective, some kind of fruits to come to pass. Wishful thinking. So yes, we have objectives, and what is wrong with the desire? When they become inappropriate, irrational, and they do not respect. Here in the third, in this tamasic karma, when he is explaining, actually when that term is used here, anubandham anapeksha, that you do not, regardless of the context. So here what is said, the kamepsuna karma, which is done with this kamepsuna, this is third case. Apsu means one kama, ipsita, one who is desiring, kama, ichha, kamana. And such person with such a mind, with kamepsuna karma, sahankarena vapuna, and with lot of egotism, it is not just the work to be done. Arey, maine kiya hai bhai. If you remove, then he becomes very discomfortable. If you just somebody, your assistant is talking about this is going on. अरे मेरा नाम बोलो भाई, मैं कर रहा हूं ना, तो मेरा नाम ही ना, कल से आना मत काम पे. You will immediately feel discomfortable because you are not getting mentioned there. He is telling, all right, sir, this is going on, that is going on. Please tell my name. That sir has done that. Now it's all right. Very difficult. We cannot imagine how pervasive the ahankara is. You cannot escape it. So how we can keep it in its threshold, workable, functional threshold, that we call suave, modest behavior. It is not going to obliterate it. It is not going to go away. But instead of becoming it pathological, we keep it in some check, and we call that is a gentlemanly behavior. So at least means it will give you breathing space. At least it will not create you enemies, or people will not become intolerant of you. At least you will not know why these people do not like me. Nobody is telling you. So sahankarena va punaha kriyate bahulayasam. This is sattva. Because we talk about flow, everything becomes smooth, easy, and as if naturally occurring. Here opposite term is used, bahula ayasam. It becomes very what word can be used? Yes, ayasa means effort. It becomes tedious. And cumbersome to do something. It doesn't become very smooth, easy, as if. So that is what happens when rajasa comes into play. When there is a rajas, it is dominating, then things, maybe what you are doing with your own mind, so you yourself can experience it. Sometimes you are in such a good flow, when you are reading so fast. And sometimes you yourself are not able to think whether I have read this page, whether I have read it, whether I have understood it, whether you are again checking the same page, you are on the same page, whether actually I have read this. I am not feeling like the where I am going through that passage, and when I am reading that, whether only my eyes are reading, my mind is not. Bahula ayasam. So when that desires are the total fuel and propelling engine, and this is so much it's plagued by this your ahankara, egotism, done with lot of this tediousness, and that definitely, if such a karma, then definitely it is the influence of rajas, that is rajasic karma. You may not go down with that, but you cannot progress. But if you are in rajas, that means you must keep on doing it, you must press the accelerator. If you are stuck, if it is hard, you must go after it, you should not let it loose. You must find out the way. Because when at the peak of rajasa, only sattva will come. You will have to bear that suffering. But then again, if you go down, then there is a pleasure, happiness and peace. That is called as tamas. But it is another realm. So, what is about tamas? Anubandham shayam hinsam anapeksha cha paurusham mohad arabhyate karma tat tamasam uchyate. What is tamasa karma? Tamasa karma is this word, this phrase, I like very much. Anubandham. Here again, Maharaj has translated this word as consequences. But I like to take this word as, in generally this word is taken as the context. When anapeksha, when without paying any heed to the context, and you take decision that of kshaya, kshaya means loss, and hinsa, that is, hinsa is yes, injury or harming others or anything. So it could be by any other thing, it could be self-inflicting. That is all hinsa. You are unnecessarily getting into rage. You are speaking, you are shouting, you are just creating such, you are becoming nuisance, maybe in your own family. Maybe not, you are not hitting or actually causing any physical injury. Everything is, you have made it so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable that nobody wants to see your face. That everything, that part is hinsa. Hinsa is not necessarily you have to kill people. Maybe relation, maybe negotiation, maybe some administration, maybe any managerial business. That you destroy people, destroy capacities, destroy established relations, resources, kshaya, and you do something which is out of context. That you are not supposed to react and in that way, or probably that person is not guilty. That viparita jnana, that is the hallmark of tamas. Totally misunderstood person. Misunderstood. For nothing you are creating the racket. Anubandham kshayam hinsa, without seeing the context, without seeing the consequences of losses, of this harm to others, and paurusham, simply out of your machoism. That is paurusham. Because you say so. So earlier person was ahankari. He is 1 degree higher up. He wants just recognition. He wants to bulldoze everyone and make it flat. Paurusham, going into mad rage. Paurusham and mohat. Moha means viparita jnana. Mistaking one for completely another. Several examples like is given in our Vedantic when texts are explained. Another is when you consider that oyster shell on the river bed as a silver because it shines in the sunlight like that, you mistake it for the silver. One I have given Rajju and Sarpa. So like that Mrugaya, that is like what in the sand and deserts, what that illusion you see, what do you say that? Mirage. Right. So, moha, totally mistaking one for another. And you initiate mohad arabhyate. If influenced by such conditions, if you are initiating any work, that is definitely tamasam. This is going to cause your degeneration. This is going to take you to hell as much you plunge into it. And some way it will give you happiness. That is great thing about it. Because you are venting letting out that animal within you. And perhaps you think that is the way to peace. It appears that, and it is not. That is tamasika karma. So this satvika karma, which will lead to your liberation, rajasic karma, it might entangle you, but if you sort it out, it can turn into either satvika karma or you can degenerate again into tamasika karma. And tamasika karma, you will turn into this. You will lose context of loss, of hinsa, injury, destruction, and context, and totally captivated by this delusion, you will plunge into out of just of your macoism. And this will cause utter destruction. These are satvika, rajasika and tamasika karma. So now why these instructions? So he is clearly saying to Arjuna, now decide how you are acting. Take a decision. Get to work. So that's all. We will take a break here, and next he will discuss dhruti. Dhruti is fortitude, dhruti, then buddhi, etc. So this discussion goes on until 44th verse, and then 45th verse there is, I think, very nice. So all these ideas are wonderful to discuss, because this is all very practical and relatable in our day-to-day life. That can be guiding mottos for us, that whether we are cultivating ourselves appropriately to cause our spiritual liberation, growth, or we might be missing some point. So to check ourselves, to tally our own self-analysis, this is very helpful. So this is conclusive part. Bhagavan is making like this end comments. So they had to get to work. So both are pretty decided, Arjuna and Krishna, and these last few instructions are going on. So Krishna would be wrapping it up. So this is 18th chapter. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.